Welcome to the Fasting Podcast, Wow, Wellness and Optimal Weight. I'm your host, Julie Phillips, certified natural health professional for 2 decades after a life-threatening scare. This is episode 70, Alarming Insights on Keto Diets. 16 months prior to doing this episode, I created episode 16, the Keto Kraze, which covered 3 ketogenic approaches: dirty keto, clean keto the way it's typically taught by natural health experts, and the new term that I coined way back then, clean balanced keto. CBK is a little acronym. Prior to doing episode 16 on the Keto Kraze, I also did episodes 9 and 10 on protein, which is a topic that's very neglected and misunderstood in many of the teachings online these days. And then episode 65 was more recent on protein/greens powders. So these are all topics you may want to review, and I'm not going to cover everything I covered in those episodes. So this is brand new stuff, and it's primarily triggered from a book that is called How Not to Diet by Dr. Michael Greger, Greger. He's a medical doctor, but a researcher, a scientist. He did extensive research, and I will give you access at the end to all of the studies and quotes that he is referring to in his book. He also has a book called How Not to Die. Okay, let's get started with these important science-based keto facts. Ketones, as well as sugar, do feed cancer cells, and ketones have been shown that they can more than double tumor growth. As of 2019, not one study shows measurable benefits of keto diets to any human cancer. Keto diets can deprive a person of essential minerals, vitamins, fiber, etc., and high-fat keto diet caused impaired reaction times and attention in 7 days. Rapid weight loss on keto comes from water around the big glycogen stores in our muscles and liver, and the diuretic effect of ketones flushing out of the liver. So they call that the false HELP syndrome. Switching to keto has caused less losing of fat mass and more losing of fat-free mass, which is water and protein. We don't want to lose our muscle. Lower carb diets of animal fat and protein had a 50% greater risk of dying from heart attacks or strokes, but that's not been proven for plant-based fats and proteins. On keto, the good effect on bad LDL cholesterol has been blunted or neutralized, and he gives a quote that you can check on that. Within 3 hours of eating a meal that's high in saturated fat, even if it's from plant sources like coconut oil, can cause a significant impairment of artery function. Amazing. The less fat eaten means the less fat stored, even with the same number of calories, and he gives a quote number 4168 to the study to back that up. Children are often, for years, put on keto diets for epilepsy, for the seizures, but they had 17 inadequate intake of micronutrients, and some of them got scurvy, and some actually died from the lack of selenium with sudden cardiac death. Links to those are all in these slides you can get off the website at the end. Constipation is a primary side effect of keto, and keto has been shown to reduce the richness and variety of gut flora, with changes in the microbiome, they call it, detectable as quickly as 24 hours of switching to high-fat, low-fiber diet. 7% of fat in the high-fat meal is able to get all the way down to the colon, with especially saturated fats able to cause obesogenic and pro-inflammatory gut flora changes, and that's mostly based on animal studies. So what about the human studies? They show a decrease in good bifidobacteria, which is the good friendly flora, and a drop in overall short-chain fatty acid production. Both of those things are expected to increase the risk of gastrointestinal disease. The reference is 4187. Now, the International Society of Sports Nutrition on keto notes performance-impairing effects. Non-athletes, keto can actually cause more perceived effort and fatigue during physical activity. Children on keto suffer bone fractures, growth stunting, and kidney stones. We have references for all of this. Keto may cause a steady rate of bone loss measured in the spine, reference 4223, with ketones themselves being acidic and ketosis contributing to a chronic acidic state. Interesting. So we know pH balance. We did an episode on pH balance in the past, and that's important for many reasons, including uptake of nutrients. Now, there's really bad news for diabetics. We've known for over a century, the doctor tells us that a keto diet can cause carb intolerance to skyrocket within 2 days. Reference 4199. In 1 week on an 80% fat diet, one can experience 5 times the blood sugar spikes in reaction to the same carb load versus a week-long low-fat diet. Even one high-fat day can produce spikes affecting blood tests happening the next day and can worsen carb intolerance as quickly as 4 hours. Reversing diabetes is often used as a term, but a lot of times they're using it to say that a person is no longer using insulin, but in reality, they're just not eating carbs. So what the doctor points out is that to reverse diabetes, which he believes can be done, would be done without carb intolerance or a prescription on a normal diet that does include carbs. That's what he calls reversing. So on page 473 of his book, How Not to Diet, he says, this is a quote, "The true diabetes reversal diet with more than 300 grams of carbs a day is practically the opposite of a keto diet." Reference 4206. The irony doesn't stop there. One of the reasons diabetics suffer such nerve and artery damage is an inflammatory metabolic toxin known as methylglyoxal, which forms at high blood sugar levels and contributes to AGEs, AGES, advanced glycation end products. We actually have a previous episode on glycation you could read. Definitely, you really need to read if you're diabetic and share this episode with everyone you know that's either been told they're pre-diabetic or diabetic. A different medical doctor, Neil Nedley, Nedley, is an expert in depression. And he lists low-carb diets as one of the top, quote, frontal lobe hits in relation to depression. He says that depression drugs are the top sellers in the pharmacy world, and almost a third of Americans have depression, with depression being the leading cause of missing work. And depression is a common complaint of keto dieters. As we discussed, keto diets can leave a person lacking in lots of nutrients, including minerals and fiber, often affecting the gut situation. And 20 years ago, when I got into natural health with a health scare, I was taught that there are more transmissions from the gut to the brain than vice versa. If you clean up the colon, you may clean up the mood. So gut impact is very major. Missing nutrients is very major. Dr. Nedley says that the only diet proven to help depression is a plant-based diet. And it can help as quickly as 2 weeks. But plants are largely carbohydrates. He points out that arachidonic acid, AA, which by the way is often very prevalent in keto from animal proteins, is very inflammatory and a key part of the depression problem. While omega-3 is good and normally anti-inflammatory, we just cannot get enough mercury out of the fish. And he's a strong proponent, as is Dr. Greger, of a plant-based diet. The doctor that introduced me to both of these medical doctors, he recapped for me the avoid artery clogging and depression recipe. So organic, taken daily, he says 7 to 8 veggies and fruits, including some berries, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, and a tablespoon of chia seeds with a plant-based diet. How about a little conclusion and actions here? my best example of what I call clean, balanced keto with its all-natural lifestyle is what is put forth in the 7-year program of the WOW Drops. It has, if you want to use it, pea cranberry plant-based protein that has enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, and fiber in it. They also offer an optional greens with enzymes and fiber, little powder. One serving is worth like 5 vegetables. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to www.wowdropstechnology.com. And ideally, that would be eaten with an eating window of 4, 6, or 8 hours, and then resting the system the rest of the time with primarily water, with consideration for only 2 meals during that eating window. And if you stick to most or all plant-based, knowing they have the best plant-based protein and greens powders I've ever consumed in 2 decades, and also consider the other input from episode 16 on the Keto Kraze, episodes 9 and 10 on protein, and episode 65 on the protein greens powder. To validate what Dr. Greger is saying in the book, you may want to review the previous episode 69, Lessons Learned from Fasting Mimicking, with their high number of carbs, sugar, and protein, while still achieving ketosis, stem cell activation, autophagy, and more in the 5-day program. So really, the whole keto topic is the craze these days, but it's really let the buyers beware. The WOW program comes with a generous all-natural food list, but it comes with 2 bottles of natural drops under the tongue with remarkable results. And these results actually can produce 0.5 pound per day lost in women and 2/3 pound per day in men, with amazing results in things like blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, inflammation marker, all of these different topics. And they can help go to the root of the problem, which could include digestion, detoxification, emotions, the hormones, so many different things. And they also have the sublingual best form of vitamin B12, which often people that are vegan are lacking, and the elderly are often lacking as well as adaptogens to help with stress. So the drop program with their natural eating list is simple, highly affordable. And by the way, that's a topic for our other podcast this week called Wow Lifeboat Freedom. And we have a video system to help with sharing that with others for income and a special pack that you could purchase. You might want to buy the How Not to Diet book and the How Not to Die book. He even has a cookbook. And get these slides from the website and look up references that he's making in all of these slides at bit.ly/cited sources, CITED SOURCES. The website where you can find the slides is at jpwowprograms.com. That's my website, and my email is julie@jpwowprograms.com. Please refer others. Not many people know about this podcast and this knowledge, so please help spread the word. And remember, stay positive, focused, and determined, because where the mind goes, energy flows.